You're going to have coupons, pop-ups, inserts. Now, an insert is where you've got your own kind of section, even almost a catalog. You could put a whole catalog, frankly, in a magazine if you wanted to. But many advertisers will buy multi-pages just in the magazine. And also sometimes advertisers will almost do their own little mini magazine stapled in and inserted into the issue of the magazine. By the way, no matter how many pages you have in your ad and how much text and scent samples, whatever it is, guess how many impressions that will be? One. Because an impression is what? One person seeing one ad one time. And then just these last 2 points, when you're buying the ad in the magazine, you also want to negotiate something with the website. I'm sure the magazine will want that as well. And just be aware that one of the big, huge resources that they offer for their value added or anything is the database they have of subscribers. How can you get them to put that to use for you, recognizing that they can't just be emailing their database every day with some stupid offer. So they're going to be protective, very, very protective of those valuable customers. Nevertheless, that is an asset for you somehow. So again, buying magazines, there are ways to buy certain demographic segments of magazines. You can see these are some of the breakouts that might be available. And we also had already talked about geographic editions of most of the major magazines. One thing to look at. So are you going to be national and take the whole circulation, or are you going to segment based on who you want to reach? And you remember that the purpose of advertising is to attract new customers. And the right prospecting for new customers is to find people who match your most valuable customer profile. Who are the customers in your database who spend the most and complain the least, are the most profitable. And you want to buy magazines and editions of magazines and segmented magazines based on who appeals to your best prospects. Some of the categories of magazines in terms of content: general mass circulation magazines, high circulation, low cost per 1,000 readers. Women's service magazines have been big players for a number of years. Here we're talking about Red Book, Ladies' Home Journal, Good Housekeeping, magazines like that. Shelter magazines are like Architectural Digest, we just spoke about, magazines about household. Special interest, this is where there's been so much growth. Special interest. Almost every hobby you can think of has a magazine devoted to it. Knitting, needle pointing, surfing. If you find out that your target audience for prospecting lines up with some of these hobbies or things, boy, that's a smart place to put your advertising. No matter how small the circulation, could be very fruitful for you. Then, of course, you've got business-to-business magazines as well to think about. A couple of special interest magazines for gardening, kids magazine, Outside, a magazine I used to subscribe to. I sort of regret not getting it anymore. It was kind of fun, even though I never did any of the things they talked about. It was nice to fantasize about, well, maybe someday I'll take that motorcycle camping trip through the Rockies or whatever, but who knows, maybe I will. Another special interest magazine, not just cooking, but cooking light. 12 fish you should eat now. And this is really special interest. I have had some students who've subscribed to this one. This is a skateboarding magazine. And, it comes out in paper. And if you've got a new product, clothing or otherwise, or skateboard for these people, boy, you want to send it to the editors here. You want to get them to cover it. You want to talk about advertising. There's nothing that's going to reach skateboarders better than this, I don't think. And let's not forget that all these magazines have got an online version. New York Magazine started a bunch of websites. This is one of them, called Vulture. New York Magazine, by the way, and its websites were just bought recently by an online media company. Well, now when we talk about buying magazines, yeah, we went through. I'm just going to go back a bunch of things here, didn't we? Right, all these approaches, all these things to think about. I also thought it would be useful for you guys. I showed a little bit of the New York Times media kit in the newspaper lecture I did last week. I want to show you a media kit for Vogue magazine based in the United Kingdom. This is their 2020 media kit. And as we go through this, just think about why they're showing, what they're showing, why they're featuring and talking about these certain things. Okay. So here's the cover. British Vogue Media Kit 2020. Now, media kits are produced by the magazines and all media companies for potential advertisers. So this is what their salespeople will carry around to meetings with new advertisers. They'll try to do a presentation of it. They'll leave it behind, probably in a digital version that can be forwarded up the decision chain at the advertiser's company or the agency's company. This is putting their best foot forward. This is why you need to consider them in your media planning. Okay, everybody? It's like, how do we buy media? Well, this is how they sell media. And it also helps us understand the whole interaction between sellers and buyers, what it's all about. Now, this is the first page. This is a new editor-in-chief for British Vogue. And so they are showing this first. His first issue was December 2017. So they got somebody brand new in charge of all their content. Here's the second page. This is the publishing director. Now, publishing directors are the people who worked with the advertisers. So the editor, this gentleman, editor-in-chief, is in charge of content, all the content. This woman is in charge of all the advertisers and what they do. And she's got an MBE, which is she's a member of the British Empire, which is kind of astonishing. I don't know her whole resume, but she's fashion and luxury industries, creates dynamic and exhilarating opportunities for the strongest media brands. Vogue's equity sets it apart as the best of the best. Vogue's content equity, the brand name Vogue. Magazines are brands. Let me just say this again. I should have slides on this. Magazines are brands. Magazines are brands. Just like the brands that are sold by their clients. So here are more things about these key people. The editorial director and the head of publishing, different things that they've done. This is their background. So you can see that British Vogue is putting these folks really front and center. Very interesting. And so you ask yourself, why are they doing this? Why is this the first thing I see about British Vogue? As an advertiser, what does this tell me? Here are all the ways you can advertise in British Vogue. Yes, you can buy a page in print. You can be on the mobile, be on a tablet. There's a Miss Vogue, which I'm thinking is some kind of teen, maybe a teen Vogue. You can buy Vogue videos, Vogue Co. UK. I don't exactly know what that is, but anyway. Okay. Now they're showing you press coverage of British Vogue. The fact that when you do something in Vogue, when you're in content, featured in the content of British Vogue, British Vogue is a factor in the press in the country. Okay, so it's showing you that there's a multiplier effect, that they get covered by the press in the UK. All right, so this is about other women involved in creating content for Vogue Britain. And this shows you the things that they've done using Oprah as a cover, and many other things. Okay, so it's kind of, again, showing you that the content is very, has a broad appeal and is very multi-gender and multi-racial, or whatever else you want to call it. Okay. These are some of the writers, the editors for Vogue in Britain. You see lots of women, you see people of color and different backgrounds, so it's not the typical old white boy network. And here even more is some of those, their digital director and their deputy editor, the number 2 person, and then directors of different, these are different special content that they do. Okay, backgrounds, people. Here's fashion and some of the photographers they shoot with. Here's watches and jewelry are a big advertising target, as is fashion. New editorial is telling you what they're doing in these content areas. Here are a few more content areas that they're quickly going to cover. These are content areas where they want endemic advertisers to know that they're up to date and doing some cool stuff with content. Here are advertisers, recent advertisers that they've brought in, showing you that they're hot, and some of the cool companies out there in the fashion, trend, etc. area want to do business with British Vogue. Now here's the area of branded content. So this is where they'll create editorial content for you as part of your deal. This can be a value-added component, if you wish. So the new publishing director, who we saw, the young lady, will tailor-make a campaign for you, and it can be there right within their editorial environment across multiple platforms. So this is what's called native advertising, or used to be called advertorial advertising. So in print, you can do this. They'll take pictures. They'll have their photographers work with you, supplement the sponsorship. They'll create videos for you, native articles. Again, they'll have their copywriters in different content areas write up information about your product, and social campaigns, etc. So something else they offer. Oops. This is the kinds of things they can do. They've done with different advertisers in social media. They've created posts, Instagram and YouTube, Snapchat. So something else they can do custom for you. Here are some events that they've run for, sponsored by advertisers. So Tiffany sponsors a fashion and film party, and look on the left is, what's his name? He won an Oscar a couple of years ago. You guys will know more than I do. He played the British physicist, the one who just died. Won an Oscar. Oh God, I'm blanking out. Anyway, there's Cartier. So in other words, they can, this is value added, right? They can do events. We talked about the architectural house. They can do different types of events, invite their readers, and invite people like these amazing actors, and really help your brand stand out. So you're